Yes. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back. Now let us solve the problem insert in sorted way in a sorted double linked list. And this is a pretty straightforward question. So you are given a sorted double linked list and an element X, and you need to insert the element X into the correct position in the sorted double linked list. And honestly, except very few edge cases, this problem is pretty straightforward. So I don't know why it's given as medium. I feel that it should be easy, but hey, God knows. So yeah, so what we have to do? So we have to iterate the main intuition behind what we have to be done is to just iterate through the entire sorted double linked list, and then what we will do is that as soon as we find a node which is greater than the value of x, we will break the connection over there. We will add the new node over there, and we will reconnect the things. So that is pretty simple. So first, let us do that. So what we have to do? So we have to have a current pointer pointing to head, and then what we will do? So yeah, the thing is after you break the connection between yeah, you have 9, so you have to break the connection between 8 and 10. That means what? So you need a pointer pointing to 8 and a pointer pointing to 10. In other words, you need a previous, you need the reference to the previous pointer also. So that will be done for now. And then while the curve exists, so what you have to do? See, if the curve dot data at any time becomes greater than x, then we have to break, not break, it's break, yeah. And or else what you have to do, you just have to do cur is equal to cur dot next. But before that, don't forget to update 3. Yeah. And now, so now what you have to do, uh, create a new node with the value of x. So now what has happened? So you have the connections over here. So you have to make it so that 8 is pointing to the node. So that 8 is nothing but prev. So prev dot next will be pointing to the node, and the node which is 9 should be node dot previous should be pointing to 8. So node dot prev should be pointing to 8. 8 is nothing but pre. Yeah. So first what you did, so now you have broken the connection between 8 and 10, and you have made it so that 8 is pointing to 9. So you have to make it so that 9 points to 10 now. So in other words, so node dot next, you have to take it and make it point to the current node. So now you made a connection between 9 and 10. So you have to, but you have to make a reverse connection between 10 and 9 also, because it's a doubly linked list. So what you have to do, you have to take curve dot previous and point it to the node, and then you can return the head. Yeah. This is it. Like this will this technique will work for any number which has to be like which is in between. Yeah. So this idea will work for any number which is in between, like anywhere from head to tail. But you have to take care of two special cases, which is nothing but if there is no head, like if the no no like rather than if there is no head, so you have to take care of two cases. If the element has to be inserted at the beginning or at the end, because see, if I take it and if I make it 200, so what will happen is that you will get error that three cur is pointing to none. Yeah, cur has point since cur is pointing to none has no item called priv, and if I make it 2 and if I make it 8, you will get an error that previous is actually none, so previous has no attribute next. Yeah. So you have to. These are the only two special cases you have to handle. So when can you do this case? So if you have a current and the previous node, that means that the insertion has to be made somewhere in the middle. So the next case is if there is no curve, that means the node has to be inserted at the end of the linked list. So imagine you were given 900 over here. That means after 12 it has to be inserted, and thank God that we have a previous pointer pointing to 12. So what we will do? We will take previous, and previous dot next will be pointing to node, and node dot previous will be pointing to previous. Yeah, previous dot next will be pointing to node, and node dot previous will be. Mm, yes, I think this is correct. Like yeah, if yeah, it is it's not correct. So what you have to do? you have to take the previous dot next and point it to the current node, so which is nothing but 900. And you have to take the 900, which is nothing but node dot previous, and you have to point it to previous. Yeah. So this is the case where if there is the insertion, if the insertion is being done at the end. So what if the insertion is being done at the beginning? So else. So now we have to insert at the beginning. So just think about it. So we'll take the current node, a node, in other words, if it is a one, and if it is one, so you will take the current node and node dot next will be pointing to the current node, which is nothing but the head. And current dot previous will be pointing to our node. But this is not it. Like, so now what has happened is that node dot next is pointing to next, node dot next is pointing to curve. So in other words, one is pointing to three, and three dot previous is pointing to one. But our head is still pointing to three. So what we have to do? Head should be pointing to the node now. And let's compile and run for now. Yeah, yeah, and it is what that is what is expected. And if you make it a very big number, like ensuring that it will be put at the end itself. And yeah, it is working. So let's just submit it once. Yeah, as you see, this question is pretty simple. That's why I told, except for these two edge cases, there's nothing else in this question. So I don't feel that it should be a medium, but I digress. But yeah, and that's all for it. And if you watched till now, thank you for watching and goodbye.